Perfect.
Tammie Halcomb, God bless you. You're back.
Yep. Again.
You made it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You are the executive director of FARE Idaho. We made some awesome burgers today.
We did. You did. That wasn't me. I watched.
Okay.
Actually.
First off, shout out to Hipwell because they provided the offal mix for the ground beef and then another pack of ground beef. This is how we did the burgers. So these are my classic dirty burgers. Okay. So you take the burger, the ground beef. I think we had a pound of both. So you pound and do the mix of the offal mix and then the ground beef, put it together, dash of salt. Then what we do, the grilled onions. Okay. So take an onion, just cut it. I do the cut in half, throw it in the pan, a lot of butter. And again, we were cooking over charcoal, which was really awesome.
Yep.
Let that go for a while. Don't rush the onions. Okay. Things take time. Get the onions done. Put those to the side. The dirty burger works out like this. We made big guys. Okay. So we had 2 pounds of beef. We did 6 balls. All right. You smash. So you take the smasher, you smash the bad boys down. Nice big rounds, parchment paper, and then this is what you do. You take each patty, you put the grilled onions, and then you put the cheese. Shout out to what's
Ballard cheese.
Ballard cheese.
Yep.
Dude, it was really, really good cheese.
Yes.
Anyway, so you do the grilled onions, and then you do the white cheddar, and then you put another patty on top. Mm-hmm. Smash those bad boys together, crimp the edges like a pie, throw that on the grill. Flip it whenever you're ready. But the point is, when you're done, you have the grilled onions and the melted cheese coming out of the middle. It is lit. Yep. I'm a huge, my mouth is watering actually again, just talking about it. That's what we got to enjoy right before we started. So thank you for coming.
Yeah,
thank you for Hipwell and thank you Ballard. It was really, really tasty stuff.
Yep.
God
absolutely
bless
not awful. It was great. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely not awful.
I know, because I was scared. I was scared a little bit.
Is it like the organ meat that you got scared of?
Yeah, I've never eaten offal.
Dude,
by
it's
design.
really not
I've
bad.
never chosen to eat it. It was good.
It
was fine.
Restaurant menu
good.
though.
Yeah.
You know, and here's the thing: you have nutrient density in those organs that, like, all wild animals know. Like, you go to the gut pile and they're like, they take out the liver and they take out, the heart and everything. They run away. They're like a little scavenger.
Yep. Well, that's why I asked you about your iron levels when you said that's what you've been eating.
Yes.
That's why I asked you.
Yeah, because we did, like, when we were buying from McIntyre, we were getting the Oregon ground beef blend. And dude, it gives a rich flavor to it that just, there's something visceral about it. There's something like primal about it. It's tasty. So thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah.
Thank
you for making them. Thanks.
You're welcome. How's FARE doing these days?
Oh, really well. We've done so much in the last, I think the last time that we aired, because you and I filmed an episode that we didn't air, that it never aired.
No, we didn't.
No. Yes. The one, do you remember where I said that I was a total jerk to Dan the farmer?
Did we not air that one?
No, that one goes in the trash now. That's the one we never aired. We don't talk about that one. That one never happened. But then we have the first one, which was like 18 months ago. It was like a long time ago. No,
yeah.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Like mid 2024, I guess. So maybe like a year ago.
Oh my gosh.
A lot has happened since then.
A lot has happened.
So we held...
You know what's so funny? Can I interrupt you just for a small second?
Totally.
You and I end up on the phone chatting forever.
All the time.
And so when you're like, hey, we did a podcast, and I'm like, I don't know, because we just end up chatting, and like us on the phone and us in the podcast are pretty much identical.
I know.
So wait, which 45 minutes was that?
Yeah. No. I was at the one in Boise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Different location.
We don't talk about that one.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah. Okay, that one, we don't do that one. So like in the last year, we've been able to expand our programs. We made it through a legislative session, which was really interesting. We were able to do advocate for a few different bills, some that were passed by Governor Little and some that were not. Signed by Governor Little and some that were not, even passed at the committee level. One of those being the chicken bill. Like, we really liked the chicken bill because...
This is the backyard chickens.
Yeah, the backyard small animals, like having people have the ability to start their own little ag business, like, and see if this is something they want to do before they go and buy a huge ranch and realize they don't really like it, or they don't enjoy chickens, or they don't enjoy working with the dirt. Like, having people have that entry point, we really love, FARE really loved. So we supported that. It didn't pass, of course. HOAs really didn't love that idea. I don't know that people that live in subdivisions really like the idea either, but I mean, FARE really liked it, an entry point for entrepreneurs.
There's I'm sorry to interrupt. There's a neighbor right around the corner. They have a few daughters and they have chickens and they're out there instead of the lemonade stand, they got like the egg stand, and the people in the community really enjoy it. And the girls got to take care of the chickens. It's kind of like a less formal 4-H. Where it's like, can you just do the chickens with the eggs and then like everything's fine?
Yeah. I mean, I get the argument against, but I mean, from an ag perspective, which is what FARE advocates from, is an ag perspective. I mean, it looked like a great bill. And then we supported the APA bill that expanded the agricultural protection area supports. Hopefully that will eventually one day have a monetary component to it, but that was really cool, preserving some farmland for those that opt into a program like that. That was really cool. And then the small entrepreneur startup, like up to $5,000, they don't have to have the licensing the same as before, so they can kind of test their proof of concept before they end up in a full-fledged business, which is really what you want.
I have a dear friend, Max, who very much is at that stage where he's trying to like tease out these problems, but the threshold, it's like, you start so he has a tallow product business, and he's making stick tallow, which is really awesome. It's like to go from stick tallow where he renders everything and does a whole bit and then like wraps it in parchment paper, like little thing, signs a little card, and he can sell them at, he goes to, not flea markets, what is it? Farmers markets. Yeah. He goes to like little farmers markets. So he has like a little cooler at a CrossFit place where people really like it. To go from that to an actual business, there's no ramp up. It's like, go. No. You need a butter packing machine, and those are like $100,000. Then you need purchase orders, and it's like, there is no, starting, but he needs that intermediate step before he jumps out of his, like corporate job. So it's really a problem for him. And again, it's important to have that step. I
think so too. And, it's not just like that kind of a model that needs that ramp up. Not to like plug FARE again, even though this is what we're talking about. One of the businesses that really struggles to get financing is restaurants, because they are so difficult to keep afloat. And banks want to see proof of concept. They want to know that they're not going to just lend to somebody who likes to cook peanut butter and jelly in their kitchen. And they're like, we've got a business concept. Not a lot of cooking, by the way. Okay. Go with it.
Just go with it. Put together.
That's an analogy. We're going with the whole thing. We're going to run out this whole analogy. Then. So like they want to know that they can bank on this product because they're also a bank. Like they want to be able to have their money returned to them. Right. So people have to find a way to get proof of concept. So a lot of people for the restaurant business go into food trucks. So then this like peanut butter and jelly company can go and say, well, this is what our concept is. Here's the proof. We sell for X amount. This is our ROI on this product. This is what we're bringing to the bank. This is what you can literally bank on. And this is what we expect to look like in 10 years. Like they can then say, this is our proof of concept. We've tried it. And now we're ready to expand and get into a brick and mortar. So thinking of that concept, FARE put together a food truck park, a temporary pop-up food truck park in Caldwell. Yeah. We were able to do it with a partnership with the Caldwell Airport, which was super cool because they have this huge...
Gosh.
Yeah, they have this huge area of land that's not activated. There's nothing on it. It's just desert. So it's doing nothing for the city. But the minute you put businesses on it, all of a sudden a bunch of people are coming to the city. And then as they drive through, they're like, oh, look, this downtown's really great. We haven't been to the downtown in a minute. So now you've activated a piece of land that wasn't doing anything before. It's just desert and goat heads. And now we have 11 food trucks there, people coming. We had over 600 people come.
What?
600 people. It was the coolest thing. It was such a cool...
Like one event? 600
4 hours. In 4 hours.
Okay.
It was such a win. It was so cool.
I have been interviewing people from Caldwell and Nampa, both for mayor and city council.
Wonderful.
And one of the candidates, Eric Myricks, who apparently you definitely need to
I've met him.
With.
Yes, he and I have had a meeting.
We were literally talking about using if Nampa kept the FARE Idaho Center. I came up with the idea. I was like, why don't you use the FARE Idaho Center parking lot as like a food truck hub? He's like, there you go. Like he was all about it. And like coming up with different ideas to create destinations and events that bring together. He had a lot of other really cool ideas that I had never thought of.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, man, you are like, he's really got some different stuff.
Yep.
But it's that kind of thing where it's like, it doesn't take that much. It takes thought and it takes organization, like bringing the people together, and then you can create something of value.
Be intentional.
That is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. So we did it too. We did 2 pop-ups. We did one in July and one in August, which was wild. August was like the busiest month I've ever had in my life. But it was so fun and it was so good. And to see all those businesses say, this works. Like we didn't normally come to Caldwell. Like Caldwell isn't our market. It's not what we even see having a ton of value for us. And they came out and they were like, this is great. Like these people love us. They liked our food. We want to come back again. We're going to go to other markets. We're going to see what this looks like for us. So now Caldwell gets to have that little piece that they wouldn't have had before too.
And in keeping with the FARE Idaho idea, which is like, look, individually, you wouldn't be able to pull this off. Like if you had one food truck who was like, I know, like, let's do something at the airport. It's like, like you got one person there. But as FARE collects and organizes small pieces, you build this whole where it's like, okay, be one of the 11. Trust me, this is going to work. And together as the 11, we will get all of this commerce. We will be successful in this way. But you need that unifying body like you do with, small producers or, like whatever it might be. I just, damn,
stronger.
That's really
together we're
smart.
stronger. It was fun. It was really fun to watch that little piece of like land become activated, people walking all over it, people saying how excited they were to see these new food trucks, to like try things that they had never tried. We had a business set up for the very first time. They had never opened before. They had never sold before. It was their very first
This was the maiden voyage of the food truck? What were they selling?
Oh my gosh. Okay. First of all, I don't like lemons. Like, I don't like lemonade. I don't like lemons. I don't like
you're allergic to avocados.
I know.
What is wrong with you?
I know. And if you've ever had an Arabic meal, you know that it has lemon on it. It's like by default, it has lemon on it. And I don't like lemon. So anyway, they were lemonade. But I bought this lemonade and it was the best lemonade I've ever had. Well, first of all, I don't like it, but it was delicious. I went back for more. I came back. I was like, can I have another one, please? I would very much so like this. It was delicious. It was purple. It was pretty. It was so good. They had their little like daughter there working. Like it was such a cute, like these are entrepreneurs. Like these are the people you want to help. Like these are the backbone of your economy. These are the people that are going to thrive. They're going to go get a loan. They're going to go put more business into your economy. They're going to have customers come. Those customers are going to go to different businesses. Right. That's what you want.
Right.
Yeah, it was fun. It was cool.
That's super cool. I have a failed food truck story for you.
Oh, I love it.
Okay. So going to Berkeley for college, and there was this Spud Brothers food truck, which was literally, the whole premise was a baked potato the size of your forearm. Okay. And like when you're broke in college, it's like a baked potato this big with like toppings. So then the idea is like you get the base, like the basic was like sour cream, chives, and something else. But then they had like grilled onions, or they had, like mushrooms, or they had like all like extra bacon. So you could order the different potato, and it was like $3 or $4. It was nothing. And it was like, oh my God. Now again, the premise of the actual operation is like, okay, all we got to do is bake like 400 potatoes at home in the oven, throw them in the food truck, and then have like a bunch of fixings. Like just like a bunch of Daisy sour cream and like some chop up the chives, whatever. Right. So essentially just go to Costco real fast and then go home and bake the potatoes and then throw all of that in the food truck and you're ready to go. Right. So this was their premise. They crushed. They absolutely murdered. And then like, I know, let's get a storefront. So then they go from the food truck to a brick and mortar right in front of campus. And there was no like, first off, everybody's getting these potatoes to go because nobody's hanging out in the restaurant. And they didn't dress up the restaurant to make it an experience where it's like, oh, I would like to sit down. And you didn't have to sit down because they had the potatoes already baked, right? They lasted like 3 months and it was over. It was like there are some food truck ideas that really play with a food truck, but just don't require the brick and mortar. So as you talk about this as a transitional period for business, I think there's still play with like, no. There are some things that are actually far better just being kind of a mobile offering.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
I mean,
Spud Brothers was definitely one of them.
That's too bad. Maybe they should have gotten their sour cream from a local provider, not Costco.
But like think about lemonade. It's like if you have a baller lemonade stand or like a shave ice stand. Yeah. It's like there's nothing, like you don't have to take on the overhead of and the permanence of a location where it's like, oh, I need foot traffic and I have good foot, or you could just go to where the foot traffic is. Like there's one in Jefferson County Lake. So the Rigby Lake, we go there for a water polo tournament in the summers and they have a shave ice, like food truck there. Right. And like you go over and it's like $3 and you get like, half a gallon of sugary shaved ice. And it's like, God bless this. It's like 1,000,000 degrees out here.
Yeah. I love
you don't need a storefront for that. Like you could take the lemonade wherever you need the lemonade.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I mean, I do think that like food truck business, from what I heard, from those businesses. Like I asked them what their challenges were, and a lot of the challenges were it's a seasonal offering. Like you don't have your food truck operating for the most part. There are definitely
in the winter.
some. But yeah, winter's not really a huge attraction for food trucks. So I mean, it's interesting to hear like where the niches are and like what actually works for them. Like there's absolutely a market for brick and mortars and there's a market for food trucks. I think they can all exist in the same ecosystem. It was interesting. It was really interesting to learn like all of their different challenges, all the different nuances to having a food truck, like all the different licensing. I actually called Kelly Packer over at the Association of Idaho Cities. And I was like, hey, like what if we made a unified truck code where all they have to do is be registered as a truck, like at the state, just like any other business, you get your state business license. But right now the cities require food trucks to get licenses at every single city. Like they have to be licensed through every single city to operate in those cities.
That doesn't sound like
cumbersome.
It makes sense.
It's totally cumbersome. But then, so I called Kelly Packer and I was like, hey, what if we put together some legislation that just like ease the restrictions here, like remove the barriers to market, let these food trucks operate in any city. So like they can be totally mobile. Caldwell, Moscow, doesn't matter where they go. They can still, they're a state business, so they can still operate. And she was like, yeah, except for how does FARE like ensure that they sit with the city's code? Like, how do they know that? And how do they know they're going to be like in the right location according to like land use? The state won't know that because that's city. So then I was realizing, like, as I was talking to her, she was polling the mayors that she serves, and she was like, this isn't going to work. Like, it takes away the city's ability to make sure the city looks like what the city wants it to look like, and that the city's safe like they want it to be. Like every city has a different way.
What about county permitting, right? So like if you have, for instance, if you just got permits in Ada and Canyon County and you went through whatever hoops, that allows you a gigantic market.
It would,
right?
yeah.
And then look, I don't need to troubleshoot this for you, but like if you it's like, okay, not the state, not the city, what about the county?
Or even the health districts.
Right. Or a health district. That's a fair one. And then whatever other, like maybe there's a specific dedicated area that the city's like, okay, we're going to participate in this thing. And because we want it to look just right, we're going to open these up and you guys can apply for different land use. Like, maybe that's something FARE takes on, which is like, hey, look, what about these places? Yeah. And then you have designations of like, you can only be in this parking lot or you can only be in this spot.
Yeah, I like it. I think it would be cool. Yeah. Like I would like to be able to make it to where entrepreneurs have easier access to being able to start their business, to get to market, to see. One of the things that we really, with the food port, that was what we called it because it was on the airport. Dude,
that's genius.
Kitschy. So we really want to get our producers to be able to sell to them prior to them come, like the Saturday that they pop up. We really wanted to be able to get our producers to let our food trucks shop their menu from our producers. So the goal is next year, if we're able to expand this program, I applied for a grant. I applied for a $500,000 grant with the USDA to see if we can expand this program. And we'll do like a Thursday farmers market of sorts where they can like shop the producers locally for their menu items. So then when people come and shop those food trucks, they're shopping local food and they have access to local food that they wouldn't have had before.
Dude, I love
winning. I know. I would be so excited if it happens. It'll be so cool.
Oh my God. You know what I've been really blown away by is the number of seasonal entrepreneurs here. Like you have people that are like, I do sprinkler repair. Like I have a sprinkler repair business. And it's like for like 7-8 months. Totally. They're like, yeah, that's true. Or like there was the first year I came here, that I moved here, I was blown away that there are dudes that their entire livelihood is custom Christmas lights.
Oh, right.
And it's like for a couple $100. And I was like, okay, that's wild, right? And they're like, no, we store them. We have like, they have like a house map and they're like, okay, this is line 7, this is line, and then they, and it's like, you only work 4 months. And this one guy we talked to was like making $100,000 just doing Christmas lights.
Crazy,
and it's like,
right?
I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah. If I liked ladders, I'd be up there.
Oh my gosh. So we have my son in middle school is taking this career class, right? Which he apparently is loving. Like he comes home all the time. He's like, I think I want to do this, or I think they're making him figure out what kind of car he's going to buy. He's like, all these different things. He's like, I think I need a 2008 Tundra. I'm like,
very specific.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Like, okay. He's like, well, it's going to cost it. Anyway, so he's going through all these things, and there was there's a career presentation offering where they're like, hey, if you have an interesting career, go ahead and like come on in, or like send the teacher a note and like you could do a presentation.
Yeah.
And I was joking with somebody about being a podcaster, and like that should never be a career offering because you have like normal person with a normal, like you're a professional. Then you have house sitter, dog walker. Then you have a dude who still makes mixes on CDs and tries to sell them on the street corner. And then you have unemployed, and then you have podcaster. Like, that's the hierarchy. And you got to go through the dog walker, house sitter, CD mixer, unemployed, and then way down there you have the idiot who tries to turn a buck podcasting. And it's like, what a painful thing. Like, I should have just gone with the Christmas light guy or like the whatever. I don't even know what the other easy offerings are.
I don't know, but nonprofit executive director is also like somewhere in there of like, do you enjoy being really scrappy and begging for money? This your job.
Oh my God. I think that's above unemployed.
Yeah.
And somewhere around the CD mix guy.
It's around CD mix. It's like as scrappy as you can be, going everywhere. Please fund us.
You have the sweet reggae song that was like the one hit wonder from the 80s that like everyone loves, but they forgot about. And you weave that in with like Tupac.
Totally.
Yeah. Change. Yeah. Like you got Tupac Changes. And then like you got.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
See, like, because I know, because like the CD mix guy, like I could be that guy, but I went a mark lower with the podcast. It's funny. Somebody asked me, they're like, what do you think? Like, how long does it take the average person to make money with a podcast? It's like false. They never make money.
Just wrong.
No, like if you think about it, like nobody knows anybody who's ever made money with a podcast. So you have like a 99.999% chance of failure.
Yeah.
Like it's a freak accident if you make money. It's like how many accountants do you know that don't work for money? It would be like a freak accident, right? Like that's the same probability of making money with a podcast. No,
well, you're doing great.
Well, thank you.
I'll buy your CD
for a limited time.
for changes.
I actually have a seasonal CD offering, so like you'll get the fall offering. Yeah. Speaking of, the holidays are coming up. What does FARE have in line with the holidays?
Nothing.
Nothing. You guys
Thanks for throwing it over to me for that, though. No, we don't do anything. But you know who does?
Because I was thinking about Caldwell, because they have, obviously their lights and their whole thing. It's like, are you planning on organizing a food truck thing with them?
I wish. No, and that would be Destination Caldwell. Like they have a downtown business improvement district, and if they were going to do something, it'd be them that would do it. Like I don't want to step in on somebody else's lane, like where they can do great things. We don't need to do great things everywhere.
Yeah, sure.
As much as I'd love to be able to do that as my only full-time employee.
But you have this is the thing though. Like you have connections to like the food trucks.
Yeah.
That may not, and Destination Caldwell may not have the look. I don't need to tell you how to do your job. I just imagine like people where it's like, hey, we could help you get plugged in with your Destination Caldwell things. Like we could insert all these other things too, or let me help you connect with those people.
Totally. But then I would just help Danae over at Destination Caldwell meet with those people. Like I don't need to be in all of the things. Like I'm happy to hand people off. Really, I'm just a connector. Here's your connect. Peace out. Boom. Boom. Yep.
So nothing for the holiday. You're very seasonal.
Well, because we did our big, huge event in Sandpoint. That was a huge expansion. Before we had never done an event in Sandpoint, and we did our Field to Fork dinner for 100.
That's awesome.
And it was such a big win. Like I have to tell you, I went up there in November last year. So I took over FARE Idaho's executive director position in April last year. And in November, I was like, I've got this. I've worked in economic development for years. I understand small businesses. I worked in Canyon County with a bunch of farmers. I get it. I understand what this is. What can go wrong? So I went up to Sandpoint and I was one of the speakers there. And I had my speech all put together, in type A fashion. This is what I'm going to say. Like I have it memorized. There's a joke in every little spot that I could put one in where I was like, hi, I know what I'm doing. I have my job. And there were like 11 people that were speaking before me. And every time somebody spoke, they said a problem I'd never heard. And I was like, oh no, I don't have a solution for that because I didn't even know it existed. And then the next person would speak and they'd be like, yeah, and we don't have community. And then I was like, oh shoot, that's weird because the Treasure Valley is very different. And I've never been outside the Treasure Valley. And so then it got to my turn and I was like, oh geez, I can't give this speech because my speech was like, listen, just be a FARE member. We have all the solutions to all the problems. Just come here, pay your membership, and I've got you. But I would have looked like such a disingenuous idiot, like to stand up there and say that because none of their problems would have been solved by the solutions we had. None of them. I didn't even know community was an issue outside of the Treasure Valley. Like I thought just like the Treasure Valley turned it on itself during 2020 and like neighbors, learned neighbors and like, there was a sense of community here. It isn't like that everywhere. The problem with community is actually everywhere. It's also in the Treasure Valley. I just was ignorant to it. So I went up there and I threw away my speech on the way up, which was incredibly painful. And I did the worst job I ever ever have done in front of a group of very well connected people up there. And I ended up just saying, like, look, I promise you the next time I come here, it'll be to listen. It won't be to talk, because I shouldn't be talking until I've heard you. It was humbling. It was hubris out the window, like, bye. So I went back up in March and I was like, listen, we were able to restructure our grant in a way that allows us to be able to throw this trade fair, our Field to Fork trade fair up in Sandpoint, and to do this dinner. And I really want to do it because I want to listen. Like, I want to have panels that are talking about, like, what are the issues that are impacting you guys? I want to talk to people at the table, because I think, and I mean this so genuinely, and I'll say this to anyone, I think that when you're across the table from somebody and you're eating, you're talking about real world issues. Like, that's where the things are talked about. Like, that's where you're more authentic.
Break bread.
Yeah. I think that when you have food around you and you're relaxed and you're eating, that's when you know what the things are really happening. Like, what are the real issues that are impacting this community? So I told like a bunch of different community members up there, this was my plan. And they were like, you're so cute. That's never going to happen. You're never going to get 100 people here. You're never going to make a trade fair work. Like, we are a rural community. You're used to doing this in Boise. Like, great. That's wonderful. That's a metro. You can't do it here. Like, it will fail miserably. And then I dug my heels in and I was like, well, now I've got to prove myself, because I failed already once out here. Like, I'm not doing it again. So I went forward with this, and we had 100 people that came to our dinner for the dinner they said would fail. We had 10 people on the wait list. We had amazing conversations. The trade fair was a success. Over 10 producers made more contacts for sales than they had prior. There were so many connections that were made. And then at the table, we were able to hear so many different issues, and legislation was piecemealed there. Like, huge, huge win. Huge for, like, you'll never make it happen. My speech that dinner, I shouldn't say this at all, like right now. I'd had a couple glasses of wine. Then I go to stand up and make my speech. And we're very similar. So, like, the squirrel's like way ahead. Like, the squirrel's gone. Like, the squirrel's been drinking. So I'm like standing
Ran
out
up
there.
the wrong tree.
Yeah, right. Like, the ADD's like way not under control. And I'm standing up there and I was like, and I'm like way into the microphone and I'm like, they said it can't be done. Look at all you guys eating our dinner from local providers. We won. Temper the local wine consumption. But we did. Like, it really did happen. And we had a senator there. We had a representative there. We had, producers there, restaurant owners, tourists, like community members. It ran the gamut, and everybody was having a great time. And it was delicious food, all local. Everything was local wine, local beer, local food, everything. It was wonderful.
First off, congratulations.
Thank you.
As I get older and understand the horrible complexity of the world, and like, oh, how does anybody get anything done? Like, this is impossible, right? The more I've come to realize and understand, it's like that whole commentary, it's like, collect the people. Somebody told that to me recently. And I was like that. Yeah. And I was like, I can't do, like, I don't know. And a friend of mine, she's like, collect the people, Matt. You know how to collect people. And I was like, I guess I do. So like, she's like, just start inviting them onto the show, collect the people, start talking about the problem.
I love that.
And it is one of those things where as a younger person, you're like, where's the action? Like, you guys are just talking. Like, everybody's just talking. Like, what are you really doing? But then all of a sudden it's like, you talk. And then it's like, oh, it's game time. Now everybody's on the same page. Now everybody's pulling the rope in the same direction. It's like, oh, we're getting movement. Like, we're actually doing something. And the whole time I've known you, you've been this person who has this real horsepower. Like, we first got connected when you're still working for the city of Eagle, and just seeing it now really take off in FARE. It's exciting. It is really exciting. And it's exciting. I do so much work with the ag community, and really, again, a lot of listening, which I love doing. Like, I go on water tours and ag tours and hearing what's going on and understanding people, and then inviting them in. It's like, just talk to me. Tell me what's going on. Yeah. Even understanding the friend of mine, Spencer Black from the Cattlemen Association, he texts me, pretty, little snippets here and there, little things. And his emphasis of normalizing mental health struggles and understanding what our ag community goes through from that standpoint, it's like, oh my God, man.
Wouldn't have known.
Would never have known. Mm-hmm. And they're like one of the top it's so dark, but it's like one of the top suicide industries, out of everything. It's like they blow computer designers out of the water, and the struggle that people go through to bring you these things, and the value in being like, listen, it needs to be normalized and we need to talk about it, because if we don't, we're going to stay at the top, right? Like if we don't start just picking apart the problem one step at a time, boom, boom. I had a gal that under normal circumstances I would not have responded to, but it was this gal who was part of the North American or the American Mental Health Alliance, right? Mental Illness Alliance. I know I'm botching it, but she came in and chatted with me, and we had this great conversation about mental illness and problems that people have. And it's like, dude, people struggle. Yeah. I was talking to a doctor just this morning. It's a funny thing. We were talking about the struggle of mental health and the struggle of trauma and struggle of all these things. And I realized over the last 5 years, like, oh, I suffer from mental illness too. I just do a great job managing it with like healthy living and like exercise. Mm-hmm. But if you take that away, as I experienced, I'm like, oh, I fall apart. Like I have mania, I have depression, I have all of these things that I just like manage and I'm happy managing them. And it's like, I like eating good food. I like working out. I like all of these things. We just all have these struggles that if put in the right situation, rear their ugly heads. And we need to talk about that more specifically, as an effort to help our ag industries, that our ag producers that support us and, they need to have support themselmes.
I agree. Yeah, I don't know anything about that, so I'll never talk about it because I learned my lesson. but
FARE is not a leader. FARE is not a leader in that version.
Or nope, don't know anything about it. But that sounds awful. I'm glad you're talking about that. I think that's really important. I mean, I think our farmers do a lot for us. Like, what other business can you think of that like works from sun up to sundown? Farmers. And
just rolls the dice. I went up to Winchester in. I think it was like May. Yeah. I got invited up for an event, which I was like, hell yeah, I'm coming up. Like, this is great. I'd never been there. Yeah. And I drove past all these canola fields, right? And they were beautiful. Like these beautiful, like incredible fields of yellow. It's like, this can't be real. And it's just these huge rolling. It looked like something it was like The Sound of Music. It was like these crazy rolling fields. And I get up there and I'm talking to somebody about it. And I mention, again, never been outside the Treasure Valley. And I mention irrigation and water districts and stuff. Like, we don't have any. I'm like, well, what about all the flowers? Like, what do you mean? They're like, well, we're just rainwater. Like we're like dry earth farming. Like we just, when it rains, it works. Yeah. Then I find out more that not only is it reliant on rainwater, that production, but they also have this horrible thing where if they get a frost or a cold hit in the spring, then the plants go to seed and like go to, like they're done. Yep. It's like, you're just rolling the dice. Yeah. There's like whatever, God sends my way this year. Yeah. I hope it works, honey.
Risk. Yeah. So much. I know that's scary.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of risk in most people's profession. Like they go to work, they come home, they get a paycheck. Like it's not like, I don't mean to minimize anyone's roles, but like, it's not as risky as being a farmer or rancher. Like you're at the risk of markets, you're at the risk of the weather, you're at the risk of like workforce. You're at a lot of, the other day we were planning our Field to Fork Festival for Boise. And we were talking about panel
That's
auctions.
2026?
2026, yeah, right. February 12th. We were talking about
the one this year, by the way, was fantastic.
Thank you.
I so enjoyed it. And
it was great.
I actually made connections there as well. Like I met a bunch of different representatives that I had emailed and said like, hey, you're welcome to come. Like, I'd love to chat with you. And then I met them in person. Yeah. And then of course, like, we booked it. It was like, great, here we go. Like, we're going to make this happen now. Because I knew I wasn't a crazy person. Well, not entirely, but.
Yeah. What'd you say? Gather the people or like?
Yeah, collect the people.
Yeah.
Collect the people.
Yeah. Be a convener. Yeah. So what was my point? Oh, we were talking about.
You were planning it February.
We were planning it. We were in our committee meeting and we were talking about panels, like what would be relevant to producers and restaurateurs alike. Like where do we have like issues that people want to hear about? Or do they want to talk about? And our event coordinator, Carly May, says, well, what about smoke and how it taints the product, how it taints our crops? And I was like, oh, I mean, I guess that would be really interesting considering how much smoke we deal with in Idaho across the entire state, and it does ruin crops. It changes the taste. Like wine industry is incredibly hit by that. And I don't know enough to talk about it, but it really impacts, like, especially our crops. Like we think about it for ourselves, like our lungs and our like quality of life, but it impacts our crops.
Yeah, we get annoyed with like large land management from the federal government. I had no idea it had an impact on crop.
Food. Yeah. Yep. It'll change the taste. So I'm interested to hear, like, I'm hoping we can get that put together. I'd love to have, Moya, right, from the Idaho Wine Commission. She doesn't know, but I'm jumping her into this conversation. You're welcome, Moya.
I'm jumping her in?
Oh, I'm jumping her into my game. That's what I do. I junk people into my gang. You collect people, I jump them in.
Bless you.
No, I'm going to I feel like everybody should be talking about this. Like, what else is impacting our food? Like, the more we realize what's impacting our food, the more we can go, oh, well, that's why it costs that. Or, oh, that's why that's scarce. Or, oh, maybe we should be buying local. Like, that's the whole point of, like, you should support local. Like, it's happening across the entire country. But if you support local, there's a lot of benefit to that. I mean, I don't know what it would do for smoke, taint, but I don't know. Like,
yeah, there's a whole, I mean, look, this is one of the greatest struggles of the United States and its contemporary iteration, that we have essentially outsourced our fundamentals to other countries. Like you look at agriculture, you look at mining, you look at, like service, like we don't look inward anymore for solutions. It's like, well, somebody somewhere else can do it cheaper, so let's do that. Yeah. And then if the people that propose reversing that, they're like, listen, this hasn't actually worked. It's worked out really well for them because we've brought up the economic stability of the rest of the world by consuming from the rest of the world. Yeah. But it hasn't been actually great for us. And ultimately, I think the argument goes that, look, if we don't take care of our economic needs with employment and lifestyle within the United States, in 20 or 30 years, we're not going to be able to support the rest of the world anyway, because we're not going to have enough demand, because we're going to contract because not enough people are making money. Right. And I know there are like a million people like, what about AI, bro? Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, all I know is that if we continue to outsource all of our needs to other countries, that will benefit other countries. Like, yeah, absolutely. And like, I'm not against not benefiting other countries, but I would like to try to benefit America as much as possible first. The problem is you've dug yourself. You know what it is? They dug themselves into 2.5% 30-year mortgages, and now nobody wants to refi at 6%. Yeah. Right? That's like, we've gotten everything so cheap now. Right. But we're also at risk of supply chain hiccups and all of these other problems. Right. And our own economies, local economies, are not profiting. That it's like, okay, but can we look local? They're like, no, bro, you're going from 2.5% to 3%. That's a bad deal. It's like, okay, but maybe the 2.5% was a bad deal in the long run. Or it's not sustainable. Well, but also, like, if you don't see where your money goes, like, 2% or 3%, okay, I can understand your argument there. Like, people are going to purchase based off of what they see in the immediacy as being affordable. Like, local food does seem to be perceived as a luxury item. But if you realize that for every dollar that you spend, stay in your community, that's feeding your neighbor, or that's like supplying their salary, that's providing our schools, roads, everything from the sales tax revenue. Like, all of that money does come back to you. Like, you don't necessarily see it. So I can understand where there's that disparity in understanding that, like, your dollar's literally doubling when you purchase local food. It doesn't do that when you go to, a W named store or like a large chain. You're buying from a corporation in a different state. It's going to that corporation. Your money's going to that corporation. It's not doing much here. I just got half a cow, half a beef from Hat Brand Beef. Oh, nice. And I think it was like $6 a pound. Don't quote me. Yeah. I don't know. I don't pay attention that closely. I knew it was a good deal. And like, okay, awesome. And that's $6 a pound for everything, which means I got T-bones this big, $6 a pound. Wow. I got a huge amount of ground beef. We do burgers all the time. I love the dirty burger, right? A huge amount of ground beef, $6 a pound. We got like dinosaur ribs. We got all of this different stuff, all at $6 a pound. We did buy in bulk, right? So I had to have a refrigerator, or a freezer rather. But it's like, it's not. How much cheaper are you going to get at Costco? Yeah. Like, you're not going to get it that much cheaper. Right. And that's a local guy. Like, the cows were born in Idaho, and they might go somewhere else to get, No, they got processed here. Did they? Yeah. No, it's not that. I was going to say, interesting snippet. Did you know all cows are grass fed?
Well, they are finished with grass, right?
No, so that's the difference. They're born, and in the first phase they drink milk. Not a surprise. Right. That's like, we understand milk production, right? They drink milk. Then they move on to grass. They all move on to grass, and we either can feed them grass here or we ship them to some place like California so that they can go through that phase because California has grass year round, right? And then wherever they go for the grass, the second phase, they come back for the third phase. And this is the last few months where it's like grass finished or grain finished, but they're all grass fed. You're only worried about like that last 60 days of life. Yeah. And so Hat brand beef, they're like, no, like we actually do grain finish, but they eat grass and milk throughout this large phase of their life as every other cow does. And it's really just the last 60 days. And I was like, okay, that's not that big of a deal to me. Like I initially thought that the whole grass versus grain, it's like, the cows goes from, I didn't actually even think about the milk phase, but essentially gets weaned off and goes straight to like corn. And they're like, no, man, every cow eats grass for like a certain amount of time.
That's so interesting. Like about marketing, I was talking to Brett Wilder the other day.
Yes.
He and I were on a panel together. And
he's the best. Tell him to come back in.
Man, he's the best, right? Isn't he? He's the best. He has wife too. Have you met with her yet?
She has refused to come on.
No.
She's awesome.
Liz is the best. She's a board member.
I had Brett on, I think 3 times now. I had him on to just talk about the lamb industry in general. He came on to do an episode with the leg of lamb where he cooked the most baller leg of lamb ever.
FARE.
That was awesome. Yes. And then he also came on to talk about tariffs because everybody lost their minds when. By the way, everybody was like pointing at the Dow.
Yeah.
Like the tariffs are going to kill the Dow, and like, okay, great. I don't know anything about it. I don't understand stocks and bonds, but the Dow Jones is not doing too poorly. Like whatever the blip was, it came back.
Yeah.
And Brett's whole point of if you have a support local bumper sticker and you hate tariffs, you need to like take 10 minutes, take a shower, scrub off the nonsense and reconsider your life.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the goal is to support local.
Right.
He was saying that, like, I should just let him talk about it, but he was explaining the difference between like marketing as organic and being organic and like what the restrictions are and what the requirements are. He was explaining that there was this one producer that was an organic producer, but they put a post like way away from where their vegetables were growing, but the post was treated and they lost their organic status, their certification, because you can't have a treated post because an animal could go over there and lick the post and then urinate in the field. They could.
Man.
I know. So he was explaining that it's not necessarily like it's not everything.
I had Dr. Peter Abram on. It might be Abram or Abraham. I'm not 100% sure. Okay. Anyway, Dr. Peter.
Sure.
He came on, episode published yesterday. He's a board certified physician. He works at a clinic in Boise and he deals with people with allergies. And so I got connected with him because I mentioned my gluten-free, issue years ago. And somebody was like, hey man, the fan hit me up and was like, hey, by the way, my son had that. He worked with Dr. Peter and it was like, he can eat gluten now. I'm like, whoa. So I've been wanting to get this guy on for a while. He finally comes on because I went overseas and ate all the bread. All of it. I ate all of it. And I was like, this is wild. And marketing, I'm like, it must be like the heirloom wheat. It must be like the Italian wheat. I have Brittany Hurst from the Wheat Growers Association. She was like, it's not. They import more wheat than like they're our biggest wheat like importer, right? Yeah. They use the same wheat that we have here. They literally buy tons of it from Idaho and America. And it's one of these big misnomers. I was like, wait, well, where's the whole heirloom wheat marketing or the concept comes? She's like, it's literally just marketing. They just treat it differently. They just engage with it differently, but they're buying the same wheat that we have here.
Yeah. Interesting, right?
Times. Yeah. So I'm actually going to do a thing with him. I proposed, I was like, listen, I would love to go through your treatment for the allergies. And like, we'll do a whole thing, like first 30 days, where like, I'll drink a beer and eat a sandwich beforehand. And my face will all swell up like I fought Mike Tyson. Right. It's like, that's what happened.
The swelling's like a real thing though. It's like a real thing. Terrible. Yeah. I had one beer today. And
that's really bad.
They feel tight. I know.
Yeah. Like my knees are like last time I had a proper beer, my knees, like I bend at 45 degrees and it cracks. Yeah. And then I got injured like instantaneously. It's like the joints just can't handle it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hear that.
We've talked about many things, Tammie. The burger was good. Thank you for bringing that in. Thank you again for Hipwell. And I'm sorry, what was the cheese producer?
Ballard.
Cheese. Super tasty stuff. I don't want to keep you all day. I know it's a working day. Do you have any little bits here at the end you want to hit?
Well, I guess I wouldn't be an executive director for a scrappy nonprofit that begs for money if I didn't beg for money. So if you have people that are listening and haven't yet heard of FARE, I hope they come and check out our website.
FARE collects the
Idaho.
people. They collect the people.
Yeah, I hope to collect the people. Like my hope genuinely is that we just do good and that we're able to solve problems, and they won't be me solving them, of course, because I'm just one person. But if we can get the right people in the room, they can solve it. And that's what the hope is.
You know, there's also a push by some people within the state of Idaho to do away with some of the individual commissions, right? Like the state-run councils and commissions. And FARE is uniquely positioned to kind of be like this cross hybrid where it's like, no, we represent not just individual products, right? But you represent industries where it's like we're representing, you know, the restaurant industry or
food system.
Yeah,
the entirety of the food system.
And that's a really important piece where it's like, look, you're going to need a kind of cross representation at some point. So
I think the cross is important, but I also think that the commissions are incredibly important.
Sure.
Like the grape grows need to go to Moya. I think that, like, you know, the dairymen, they all, like, everybody serves their group, like their commodity. And I think that's really important so that our commodities are elevated on a national level. Like, I think that's really important. We only work in the state.
Right.
Yep.
God bless it.
Yeah.
Tammie, thank you for coming in. Thanks for spending the day doing the burger. Thanks for eating the burger. God bless him. It was delicious. And we'll do it again.
Definitely.